Well, as Manny opened his mouth to reply to Beetle, a crumb flew out of Manny's mouth and onto Sonia's lip. Ugh, not like this.
Then the most simplest did I ask for a goddamn shower?
Hello, friends, and welcome back to ReddX, your source for the freshest daily cringe content anywhere on the internet. Promise, swearsies, it's just a fact, and it's totally science. Go ahead, go on, look it up. I can't tell you how to live your life. Today we're back with a little bit more Beardschool. I was thinking to check it out, but that last entry was just so juicy. I gotta see what happens with English Beard. Manny, still a crowd favorite. I can't stop it just yet. So let's jump into it today and see what we've got. School of Beards, Chapter 29, Fall into Beardery. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've been following my whole life. This is like a bottomless pit, right? Good day and salutations to those at ReddX Industries reading this on r/ReddX Reads, the exclusive Reddit home of this saga. I love that. The branding is just beautiful, on point. Emerald here to bring you another tale of school beardery. I admit, I was shocked to see ReddX read the last story, and it completely made my day. Thank you, Red. No, thank you, OP, for continuing to write despite me being a poohead about it. I think I was just burning out on Twitch and not having a very good time in life, and I took that out on you, and that's not the thing to do. I'm excited to see the series make its triumphant return, of course. So to quickly address a few comments, one, anytime you need a girl with a really awful adapted Irish accent or poor fake American accent, hit me up. I'm always on board to do any voice work. I mean, I do try to avoid stuff like that because it just increases the logistics that I have to do. But if you read a creepy story and sent me the voice file, I would make sure to get it edited for Date and Dies. 2, mascot designs can be bought. So can everything. It's beautiful. For the right price, we'll screen print stickers, banners, or any other array of merchandise. Small workforce, unlikely we can fill the size of your order, but for the right money, we'll figure it out. LMAO. Yeah, as always, money does talk. I think you vastly overestimate the amount of t-shirts and stickers that are ordered, but that might be because of Teespring's pricing. Like, who's gonna pay $5 for a sticker? That's ridiculous. I guess I do need to pick your brain a little bit more about this and see if we can't come to a more agreeable arrangement. 3, yes, Manny Beard still has peekaboo highlights to this very day. Oh, that's good. Those are so fun. 4, my channel. I haven't linked it yet because I haven't posted yet, but if you want to subscribe so you're there from the launch, hopefully before the 1st of next year, you can find it over here, Emerald's Cave at Emerald's Cave on YouTube. I'm gonna try to launch this month, but if not, then I'll get started during winter break. Honestly, I'm trying to figure out a solid direction. I might just start doing stuff and see what sticks. Yeah, that's sort of how I stumbled into neckbeard things. I was doing entitled parents, and then all of a sudden I put one neckbeard thing up and it slapped like a 10K in a week. I'm like, okay, well, people want more of this, obviously. But yeah, definitely do something you're passionate about, you know? The content builds the audience, not the other way around. And yeah, if you need the YouTube tips, hit me up. I've learned much in my many years, though SEO doesn't count for anything at all anymore, I don't think. Anyways, number 5. Thank you for the compliment on my writing. That meant a lot. Yeah, usually I think that the not complaining is enough for people to get the gist that I enjoy their writing, but sometimes it really does help to say it out loud. 6, Australia has the best anthem, full stop. Oh, these are big statements. Let's see this here. Australians all let us rejoice, for we are young and free. We have bogans from shore to shore, all sipping on 40s. No, but it's pretty lit. I like the horns at the start. This is my favorite. You can't do bad with the Trump. You're definitely better than Canada. Top three for sure. Moving on. I'll be honest, I'm not writing as many of these stories for 2 key reasons, and it's not really the lack of beardery. 1, I haven't really had the time until now. It has been a crazy and busy year. Honestly, sometimes less is more. Condense it down, just hit like the really big events. But as I've hinted, I started an on-campus design agency for my advanced graphic design students called Mascot Designs for the purposes of this story. It's bringing a nice amount of money into my program. We're currently working on a set of 30 shirts and 10 hoodies we're screen printing for a club on campus. $300 for my graphic design account. Thank you very much. It's like running a small business while being a teacher. Hell yeah, dude, sidelined. Get that paper. And trust me, if you can handle 30 shirts and 10 hoodies, I think we've sold 30 shirts and 10 hoodies in like the 2 or 3 years I've had the Teespring open. We don't deal in volume just yet, but I do need a better on-demand printer than Teespring, damn it. I'm still the GSA sponsor for now. That is about to change as I simply can't anymore. I'm also working on launching a chapter of the National Technical Honor Society on our campus. And of course, I'm still a wife and mom, which are busy in and of themselves. Yeah, that's a full-time job, all on its own. I don't know how humans get up and function like this every day. I have like this refrigerator buzz of depression that's just always going on in the back of my brain. I find it really hard to accomplish things a lot of the time. So look at you getting up and out, doing the work for both of us. Thanks so much. To be honest, I'm reaching a breaking point with some of the idiocy in the school system here and, well, nationwide. But let's not get political. We could get a little political if you wanted. I heard part of the Nashville shooter manifesto got leaked. Is it too soon to cover that? Probably. It was in like the same year. People will get really mad. Elliot, it's been a decade. We could read his stuff and ridicule him. We'll wait a while. We'll let that one mature a little bit more. Anyway, at the moment, Beetle and I are planning to move back to his native Ireland in 2026. We want to stay in the States long enough for him to finish his doctorate program. We plan to spend a couple of weeks this summer in Ireland just to get away for a little bit. I'm just very disenchanted with everything, and that's making it hard for me to have the will to get the stories written. I appreciate the messages checking in on me, asking if I'm going to continue the saga. I am, for now, just be patient with me. Yeah, I get a lot of those messages too. And I mean about like every saga you can imagine. That's why I've tried to put it more on a schedule. Sunday rolls around, the weekend rolls around, people are expecting Elliot, you know? But yes, indeed, at your own pace, as I've always said. Far be it from me to push somebody to write something that I will then later monetize. That feels scummy, right? All right, now that we got all that out of the way, let's get into the story. I'm not doing another cast list, and I think for this one, we'll move back to our vignette format because, as I said, this year's been busy. And to be honest, some of my memories of events are spotty as far as the order that they happened in. Yeah, they're probably not too interconnected. It's fine. 1. Beard, classroom manager. No, don't do this. Of course, our first tale involves Beard. The people do love to hate him. On this day, our English 1 teachers, including Beetle, were sitting in a team meeting. Miss Dean was there because, of course she was. Micromanager, anyone? Yep, paycheck that big and nothing else to do. Anyway, somehow the topic of classroom management came up, and Sonia saw this as a good time to offer some gentle coaching to Manny about his lack of said skill. Classroom management is something that is learned and practiced over time. A lot of it is getting to know your students, setting expectations, and being consistent, Sonia said. Manny nodded. I know, my classroom management's on point.
You sure about that?
Beetle bit his lip to keep from bursting into laughter. Sonia didn't have a reply, probably because she was in awe of his delusion. It's time to lay it down quite flat. Like, no, you don't. I've seen some things in your room, okay? Manny, every teacher can stand to improve their classroom management. I've observed your class, and there are times that you really don't seem to have control of the situation, Miss Dean said. Not inaccurate, but why are you here again? Manny's face went dark, and his lips pursed. He did not like anything that he did being questioned. Sometimes you have to know when to pick your battles, he said finally. Battles, plural. Like you're out here fighting multiple battles. Let's start with one battle. Pick a battle, Manny. Let's make this happen. Miss Dean nodded. Hey, you do have to pick your battles, but you also have to ensure that you're in control of the situation and not the kids. Manny glared. I always have control of my class. No teacher always has control, Miss Dean said. Honestly, I'm glad that we're not letting him live this lie any longer. The only way that we can find self-improvement is to admit that something's wrong, right? Come on, Manny, first step. You can do it. I have amazing classroom management. You must have come in on a bad day, but I assure you, I had control of the situation, Manny countered. Except for the days when the inmates are running the asylum, Beetle mumbled, and Sonia stifled her laughter. No one is trying to attack you, Manny. We're trying to help you be a more solid teacher. That's why we have these team meetings, so you can help each other, Miss Dean said. Do you think that he might take this criticism better from somebody else? Like, what if Beetle sat down and told him that? He probably still wouldn't. He's obstinate, you know? He'd be like, you don't know what you're talking about. In the lens that I view the world through, everything's perfect. I am perfect. Do you guys like my peekaboo highlights? They're so fun, right? Let's talk about that instead. At this point, Manny says, I don't need help. My classroom is perfectly fine. That's right, it's perfect, baby boy. You're perfect. Nothing in your life could improve at all. You've got it all figured out. Miss Dean just nodded. Okay, noted. Yeah, that's that whole pick your battles thing that he was talking about, I guess. To be 100% clear, Manny's classroom is a hot mess. Kids walk in and out of there at their leisure. They have no respect for him. And basically, it's a free-for-all most days. And Manny has zero control of the situation. It's likely that this is why he's the only teacher I know that has ever had a situation so severe that it required his classroom to be evacuated. I mean, he's young, he's new, he might get his legs under him, but not if he doesn't acknowledge his problem in the first place. He knows the truth deep down. You can lie to everybody else, but you can't lie to yourself, Manny. Or Jesus.
Huh? Oh, yeah, fine.
That isn't the only Manny story, though. Oh, no. This is a twofer. On this day, Beetle happened to be in the copy room during lunch. I'd taken the day off to go see the doctor, and so Beetle decided to brave the English copy room. He sat with Sonia, and it didn't take long for Manny to join them and start talking to the point that they couldn't get a word in edgewise, all because Sonia made the mistake of saying, "So, how's y'all's day going?" And that was the opening that Manny needed. Yes, because everything's always about Manny. He's the main character, don't you know? Oh, I'm so tired today. We're reading a story in class, and sometimes I read aloud, but today I didn't because I didn't want to read out loud for that long. So, I gave them 15 minutes to read it, and, some of the kids got it, and some, didn't, and it, wasn't even that hard. 15 minutes was, enough time, Manny stated. Uh-huh. Fascinating. Beetle sighed. But Manny just kept talking. I don't know why I can't read a simple story. It's not that hard. Just read it. Wait, Manny, stop. What about kids that have audio accommodations? Did you at least provide an audio version that they could listen to? Sonia said. Well, no, it, wasn't that hard of a story, Manny said. I really don't think bro's ever gonna get it together, you know? He wanted to be a teacher, he made it this far, paid his way through college, but the buck stops here. You need to have at least some form of investment or professionalism going on, and he just doesn't. He simply exists and talks about things like they're interesting. Sonia sighed. Manny, it doesn't matter if it's not that hard. If that's in their IEP, that's a legal thing. Beetle has told you before, you have to follow what the IEP says. You can't just take it upon yourself to decide not to. None of them asked for an audio version, Manny said, getting defensive. Yeah, now we're feeling a little bit in hot water once the legal thing gets mentioned, eh? Beetle shook his head. Doesn't matter. It's not an upon request thing. It's your job to ensure that they have it. Mind you, this entire time Manny was talking while he was eating crackers and crumbs were flying everywhere. Beetle said it was super disgusting. Well, as Manny opened his mouth to reply to Beetle, a crumb flew out of Manny's mouth and onto Sonia's lip. Not like this.
Then the most simplest pattern. Did I ask for a goddamn shower?
Conversation's over. Interaction's over. Everybody go home. Sonia's eyes widened. Oh my god. Ew. Don't say anything. She grabbed a tissue and wiped her mouth and then rubbed hand sanitizer on her lips. Manny made a face and then walked away without another word. See, there is some sort of shame deep down in there. We're gonna have to do a hell of a lot of digging to get him to admit it to himself. But that is a shameful response. I know he's not beyond help. That's so gross, dude. Maybe just make it policy to not talk to people while you're eating. Doesn't matter, crackers, jello, chocolate, whatever. Just finish what you're eating and then tell me. 2, We Won Interlude, or How to Survive Raising a Teenage Girl. God, mine's only 12. It's right around the corner, and I can't. I'm not ready. I get a lot of questions about how We Won is doing. I feel like a lot of ReddX Industries has become her surrogate aunts and uncles, which is really cool. For that reason, I've decided to just condense it into one vignette what We Won's year has been so far. I mean, aunts and that's really cool, but also keep your ear to the ground. I don't know if we got some creepy aunts and uncles that snuck into the mix. The Discord is an open door policy, but sometimes that brings its share of problems. Anyways, We Won's year started on a positive note. She was excited about senior year. She was enjoying her classes, especially graphic design. You see that on-campus design firm I started, Mascot Designs, was being run by Graphic Design 3's class. I made We Won my executive editor, and she started doing awesome work. We had a lot of odd jobs coming in, and the staff loved the work that the kids were giving them. Everything seemed to be going pretty well. Then We Won decided that, well, she actually really didn't give a shit about anything. Yes, teenage malaise in full force. Some might say that it was senioritis, but I just think it was a bit early for that. Anyway, regardless, her grades dropped. Her passion for graphic design suffered. She just had this mindset of just wanting to graduate and move on to college. Okay, fine, but you still have to maintain your GPA to get into college. And given her track record, I really wanted to encourage her to stay at home for her first year anyway, and that is where the problem started. Yeah, she's trying to fly the nest, Mama Bird, you know? You gotta let her spread her wings. She's gonna go backpacking through Europe. Statistically, probably won't get murdered, but she'll learn a lot of things along the way. Don't spend your first year at home, spend your first year abroad. Ooh, am I helping, OP? I don't think I'm helping. In the process of discussing with her why she should stay at home for a year and adjust to being a college student before moving out, she got emotional and lashed out, which made me emotional, and I lashed out. It wasn't a good situation. The line there is, I'm not going to talk to you when you're acting this way. Even if you're hurt by what they say, you just say, we're going to both come back to this once we've calmed down, okay? Could I eviscerate you? Yes, but your family, I don't want to do that. And so from there, things really just got worse. We Won stopped doing chores. She stopped doing homework. She stopped doing anything but what she wanted to do in that moment, which usually involved just hanging out with friends. Oh, I see you're not contributing to the household anymore. Are you sure that you would still like to be a part of this household? I think that's the problem with, like, you know, treating your kids too much like an equal. You know, there always has to be, like, the barriers. I am your parent first and foremost. If you do not do the things that I require you to do, then there's consequences. I'll take your things away. You won't get to hang out with your friends. But it does get pretty difficult to enforce when they're around age 17. OP does have some consequences, though, saying this led to Beetle and I deciding that if We Won wasn't going to put forth any effort, then we weren't going to put forth any money for luxuries, like a phone. We cut off her mobile service. Didn't seem to faze her that much. Nothing really changed. I mean, you still got the internet, little laptop, stuff like that. You don't even need to really take the laptop away. Just go into the router settings and block it. Like, okay, there you go. Once those dishes get done, maybe you can get back online. So this is a cycle we've been in for weeks now. And this week, everything sort of hit a boiling point. Probably because she ended up getting her college acceptance. I'm proud that she got into uni, that she wants to attend, but she needs to keep her GPA up to stay in. They are going to look at final transcripts once she graduates. That's just not how kids think. They're living in the moment 100%. I think it's good you're trying to keep her from making these mistakes, but Sometimes kids need to fall down, scrape their knee. I don't know. Anyway, a couple days ago, as of the writing of this, we were discussing her plans, and I was trying to lay out some logic for her to think about. Ah, yes, logic, all teenagers' strong suit. She blew up and got very disrespectful. I decided that it wasn't worth getting into it with her about that, so we ended up just walking away from each other. There you go! But now you do have to force the conversation about the situation. When I told her the next morning that I didn't appreciate the blatant disrespect, Wee1 was silent. Not a word. Okay, that says it all. I tell you one time to answer me. If you don't answer me, I assume this is total war. And trust me when I say, this is my house, you don't want this smoke. So the entire day, Wee1 remained upset, and in the end, her temper got the best of her. She was in her last period of the day, and she asked to go fill her water bottle. When she was walking out, she saw another girl student being super mean to a teacher. We'll call this girl Helga. Is that a Hey Arnold reference?
Lady, I'm warning you.
What are you gonna do? Make me stay after school?
She warrants a name because she'll be in the next story too. Anyway, Wee1 is disgusted by Helga's behavior as she passes, and she says, "Hey, stop being a little shit." Well, Helga bolted away from the teacher and went towards Wee1, saying, "You want to say that to my face, bitch?" Wee1 realizes at this point that she probably just talked smack to the wrong kid. So she filled her bottle and turned and walked back to class. Helga tried to lunge at Wee1, but the teacher got there just in time to get between them. Wee1 tried not to look at Helga and just walked back to class. The whole way, Helga was following her and taunting her. "Come on, fatty! Don't be such a little wuss! You super scared? Come at me! Please come at me!" Did I mention that Helga had been an all-state in wrestling, and that was in her freshman year? My God, she's a monster. Wee1 got to the doorway of the classroom and turned and said, "Have fun working in a gas station," and darted back into the classroom before Helga could get her. I worked in a gas station. That's pretty fucked up, man. Why we gotta go there? No, but I get it. You probably did cut her deep. As evidenced by the fact that from there, Helga was outside the classroom trying to take pictures of Wee1 and intimidate her through the door. Oh no, not a camera phone, please! How was she trying to intimidate? She holds her fist up through the door. She starts punching her hands. It's time for your daily pounding. Give me your lunch money. Unfortunately for Wee1, Helga holds a grudge. She was waiting for her after school and started to follow her. Wee1 was walking with a couple of guy friends that were on the larger side, so one of them distracted Helga, and the other escorted her to my cave. Yeah, she's a bruiser, but she ain't too bright. We've reported the incident to the APs, and we're hoping that Helga will get mad about something else and forget about Wee1, but for the moment, Wee1 realizes that her temper got her into a bad situation. I mean, there was a teacher being verbally assaulted, essentially. That's not very nice, but I guess maybe it's their job, and also all that's just excuses, it was just a vent for her anger. Although it could have came out in a lot more unhealthy ways, right? This was anger in the pursuit of justice, and I'm pretty sure that I always sign off on that. So yes, Wee1 was mad at OP and ended up taking it out on the wrong kid. She also said what made her so mad at me is the fact that I'm always right and she doesn't want me to be. So, I don't know, normal teenage stuff. I mean, maybe she's pushing too hard for all this, you know? You got a lot on your plate, she probably does as well. There's a big part of her that would just like to lay down and take an extended break. And that part doesn't even end with being a teenager. I wish I could lay down and take a break right now. So yeah, we have to keep Wee1 clear of both Helga and English Beard. Yeah, I'd be much more concerned about English Beard. Neither one is good, but one is way worse. Although I did float the idea that we tell English Beard about Helga and let him protect her, and he would, albeit in the creepiest way possible. He really is just so gross. Any mention of him, and I'm like, ugh, that's the thing that's happening. 3 vignette Helga. Not only is Helga in this story, but this story is all about her. Helga is Well, she's a budding legbeard, to be sure. There's a group of Spanish teachers who literally hide when they see this kid walking down the hall. And that's not hyperbole. There are teachers scared of this kid, and she's only in 10th grade. I mean, has she assaulted teachers before, or is this just like a group of wimpy teachers? I had heard of Helga's antics, but I didn't know her name or what she looked like until the day before Wee One's run-ins with her. All I wanted to do was use the loo. It was the beginning of my lunch, so I dashed out to make use of the facilities before Beetle came in to eat with me. On my way back, I saw this girl roughhousing with another kid, and there were several other kids around them. I was worried that it would turn into a fight, so I called to them, "Excuse me, you need to get to class." "You need to get to class," Helga mocked me. I nodded. "Where are you supposed to be?" She didn't answer. She just mimicked my stance and body language in a mocking fashion. Is this the height of your insult game? A 4th grader could do better. Come on. OP says, "Okay, that's fine. If you won't tell me where you should be, then I'll call an AP and let them figure it out." I turned and headed back to my room to call the AP office. Just then, another teacher walked up. "Helga, what are you doing?" she asked. I turned back to fill the other teacher in. "That's not what happened, you liar," Helga said. I just looked at her. This kid just accused me of lying? Seriously? Helga explained events in her way, which was literally what I had said, except that she just managed to make herself look even worse in her retelling of it. Like I said, she ain't too bright. I don't think self-awareness is her strong suit. "So, where are you supposed to be?" the other teacher asked. "Lunch," Helga said. The teacher nodded. "Okay, why didn't you tell Miss Emmy that?" "She doesn't need to know. She ain't my teacher," Helga said. "I am a teacher on campus, and you are not where you're supposed to be," I said. "Miss Emmy, can I walk Helga down to lunch, or do you still want to call an AP?" the teacher asked. "I'll let you take her, this time," I said as Beetle walked up. We got back to my room, and Beetle looked at me. "Love, that was Helga." "What?" I asked. "The one that got bro fired," Beetle said. "Oh, the plot thickens." She's got some power to wield here, I'm not sure if I mentioned Bro before. I'm not sure either. He was another sped teacher that worked with Ozzy and Beetle sometimes, and he was a cool bloke. He cared a lot about the kids and did a lot for them. He ended up getting fired because Helga accused him of doing something that a teacher should never do to a student. It was proven that she was lying, but the damage had already been done. Dude, she is just a Moby Vic incarnate. What the hell is going on here? Wait, that is the kid? Helga? I asked, and Beetle nodded. "Yeah, that's why teachers are scared of her." "Oh, now it's all clicking. A little bit of foreshadowing before the big reveal." Not scared because she's big. Scared because she single-handedly, with malice, destroyed a man's future and reputation. And suffered no consequences for it. God, I hope she gets consequences for it. Ugh. So OP asks, who is this girl's tracking teacher? Beetle says, with Bro gone? I'm not too sure. Okay, I'll look it up, I said, which I then did. I emailed him and explained what had just happened. In the process of looking up her schedule, I noticed that she lied. She was not at lunch. She was supposed to be in PE, so I added that to my email. That was the first time I encountered Helga, and I really hoped that it would be the last. I had no idea what Wee One would get started with her the very next day. Now, I have a feeling that we haven't seen the last of that child. I refuse to be scared of a 15-year-old, though. Not a chance. It's a good way to go. Don't let nobody push you around. But do bring backup, though, and keep yourself safe, you know? It's great for the story. I love seeing a Moby Vic incarnate, although with a different body type, I guess. But I hate to see OP get folded up like a pretzel, that's all I'm saying. just be careful. Those hormones are a hell of a thing. Anyway, we'll get into story 4, The Rise and Fall of Butchbeard. Oh no. As I mentioned in my last installment, we had a new beard enter the field, but don't get attached because she's not gonna last. The first time I saw this specimen was in the staff meeting. She looked like the picture you would find if you looked up butch lesbian in the dictionary, and in this, there's nothing inherently wrong. Her attitude is really what made me notice her. I think that's good policy. I try to walk around in people's brains too. So she was a new teacher in a new school, and she was piping up in our staff meeting and arguing about disciplinary directives and lack of power that we have to issue punishments, and I guess I get it. It sort of annoys me too, but when you're new to a campus, maybe don't argue every point with admin during your first staff meeting. Just a thought. Oh, come on, OP, this is the role she was born to play. I'm everyone's adversary. The whole world's against me, but I'm gonna fight back, starting with the kids. Please let me punch the kids. Yeah, okay, sure. You talked me into it. Once school started, I didn't give her much thought, other than when I would pass her in the hall, since my cave is in the math hall, and she was a math teacher. That is until the day that Beetle messaged me, OMG, we have a new beard. Butch Beard is born. Yeah, I guess kid punching beard didn't flow off the tongue as well, you know? Why would Beetle proclaim a new beard? Well, that's what I wanted to know too. It evidently started when Beetle got an angry email from a parent. The parent was mad because his daughter's SPED accommodations were not being followed. Like, at all. Whoopsie daisy. For those who don't know, all SPED students have IEPs, individual education plans. These IEPs are custom for each student, individualized, duh. And this is what they got mad at Manny about earlier. With accommodations to help the students succeed. It is not a request for teachers to follow these plans, it is literally the law. Yeah, we established this is a serious business. This student happened to be one of Beetle's tracking students, so it was now up to Beetle to investigate the situation. The first thing he did was look to see who the teacher was. It was a teacher that we'll call Mr. R, with inclusion by, you guessed it, Butch Beard. Mr. R, is that Mr. Rogers? He's probably gonna be cool, and Butch Beard's gonna be standing there like, no, he doesn't need an education plan, you just need to let me punch him. Later that day, before Beetle had a chance to go talk to Butch Beard and Mr. R, he was teaching his class and he heard some of the students talking. One student said, "She's so mean." "Who's mean?" Beetle asked. "Miss Butch Beard. She's always cussing us out in class and telling us we need discipline like her last school," the student said. "Cussing you out?" Beetle asked. "Yeah. Telling us we're all little shitheads and need to hurry the F up," the student said. Beetle sighed. "Wow, I'm sorry." Yeah, come on, they get enough of this at home, don't they? Not in school. Try to maintain some professionalism. I know you got your whole edgy persona, and that's great, but keep it outside. So, of course, now Beetle was indeed pissed, and that's when he texted me that a new beard had been christened. During his off period, Beetle went to start his investigation by going to find Mr. R and Butch Beard. He went to Mr. R's room and knocked. Mr. R opened the door. "Hello there, neighbor." Do you... Fuck. Do you have a quick second? I need to talk to you about a student, Beetle said. "I'm a bit busy right now," Mr. R said. "I know you have class. This'll just take 1 minute," Beetle said. "Well, I have to get this class started on their lesson. I might have some time after that. Won't you wait around, neighbor?" Mr. R said. Beetle sighed. "Okay, I can wait a few minutes." And then he just goes inside, like, changes his shoes and puts a sweater on. There's no students in there. It's a bunch of puppets. I love this character already. Connects right to my childhood. Mr. R slammed the door and Beetle waited in the hall. Over the next several minutes, various students kept walking out of the classroom to talk to Beetle. Each one said they were happy to see them because Mr. R was not following their accommodations and would yell at them when they told him as much. Oh no, don't do this. I really don't want Mr. R to be the bad guy. They also said that Butch Beard wouldn't help them either. By this point, Beetle was getting more and more angry. 45 minutes passed, and Mr. R never came out to talk to Beetle. Did he forget? Could you knock again? It's another test about confronting people from the universe. Finally, Beetle was furious. He stormed off and went directly to Missy's office. Missy is the admin over SPED on our campus, for those who don't remember. Yeah, she can make some shit rain down, but I don't like the whole run into the bosses immediately thing. Like, sure, it's a bit unprofessional for me to knock again, but it's also unprofessional for you to leave me waiting outside for 45 minutes. I'm not gonna sit there and stew about it. I'm going to talk to you directly. Maybe you thought the students were all you needed. We don't have to go to the big boss quite yet. But on the other hand, you don't want to get involved in any legal proceedings, so yeah, maybe it is best to play it safe on this one. I don't always like running directly to the big boss, you know? But if I ever advocate it, it's definitely a CYOA situation. Cover your own ass. Beetle explained the situation to Missy. Missy confirmed that she had some other complaints about Butchbeard as well, and she had tried to talk to her. Butchbeard had brushed Missy off and said, in a short tone, that everything was fine, and that she didn't need Missy's help. Always a great thing to say to your new boss, right? Sure. Nobody's my boss, just me against the world. So, Beetle left it for the day. The next day, he went to find Butchbeard and try and talk to her. Hey, Butchbeard, got a sec? Beetle asked. Butchbeard nodded. Sure. I just wanted to talk to you about one of my students. Her dad is concerned that her accommodations aren't being followed, Beetle explained. They are, Butchbeard said. Really? Because from what he described, it doesn't sound like they are. Could you just please review her IEP and make sure they're all being implemented? Beetle said. Butchbeard scoffed. Fine! And then she turned and walked away. Yeah, that was a brush off again of the highest caliber. And Missy doesn't seem to have much pull here either, so at the end of the day, you gotta take her out back. Show her the rabbits, you know? She's my dog, I'll do it. So after that, Beetle hoped that that was the end of it. Of course, he was not so lucky. A few days later, he got a phone call from the student's father. This time, the father was upset because Butchbeard was being mean to the student, and it appeared to be retaliation from the student speaking up about her IEP not being followed. Dude, somebody getting sued for real right now. This is why they let her go. They're like, okay, teacher shortage, yada yada, you can't be here. And OP says, I really hope I don't have to tell any of you how very illegal that is. The father wanted to know Butchbeard's credentials to even be in a classroom. Beetle explained Butchbeard's background. The father said that he didn't think working in a disciplined school qualified her to work with his student. Beetle assured him that he would follow up on this situation. I mean, you can't be this much of an asshole to people for this long and expect it to not all come to a head, you know? At some point, you have to show some grace, some humanity. Maybe just a pinch of humility. Yeah, I hope she gets put out real hard, is what I'll say. OP says, I wish I could tell you that Butchbeard got some sort of comeuppance. Unfortunately, it was not to be. This happened on Friday, and Butchbeard didn't show up to work on Monday, or Tuesday, or Wednesday. She just up and quit. No notice, no nothing. We later found out she suddenly moved out of state altogether. And just like that, Butchbeard was no more. I like to think that that dad got a hold of Butchbeard's number. He's like, you want to threaten my kid? I'm driving to your house right now. I mean, no comeuppance does sort of suck, but at least she's out now. At the end of the day, that's really what matters most. Don't you worry, justice will find her, okay? And that, dear readers, is the very weird situation that was Butchbeard and her month and a half at Standard High. So, story 5. Pastor Beard tries bribing me to convert. Do you need any more bribery than eternal life? Pastor Beard. He didn't get a spot in the cast list, so I will do a blurb for him now. He is head of the English department, that unseated Daria, much to everyone's dismay. Everything he does is a power play, and he likes to throw his weight around. He also seems to have a seriously odd rivalry or perceived friendship with Beetle. He acts like Beetle's bro, while also trying to one-up him constantly. He also seems dead set on trying to convert me. Maybe he has an attraction to me. Or he sees me as a lost lamb he has to save, but I'm not sure. It creeps me out, though. He's a youth pastor at Miss Dean's church, and he pushes his faith on staff and students every chance he has. Okay, so my working theory is that he buddies up to Beetle in order to feed his own ego, because Beetle doesn't really fight back against the one-upsmanship. He's just like, yeah, whatever. That level of surface-level interaction with the world makes me think that he's not actually a youth pastor at a church for the right reasons, you know? But hey, it's just a thought, you know? I'm out here asking questions. He is a hard person to get a bead on. Okay, so now that we have all that established, let's move on to the story. On this particular day, I had to leave my cave and go over to the English wing. Typically, I avoid leaving the safety of my cave at any and all costs. My excursions out are minimal at best. Hashtag relatable. I usually plan on leaving my cave to fit in as many stops as possible. I will actually wait to make copies until I have a list of things to do. Make copies, drop off a deposit, check my box, pick up some supplies, talk to another teacher, get all that done at once, and then back to the cave. Anyway, on this day, I really needed some file folders, and the math wing where my cave resides was out. I had to go to the English wing to see if there were any there. I went into the copy room and opened the supply cabinet to look for file folders. I was digging through a mountain of supplies when I heard a voice.
Well, Miss Abby, it's lovely to see you back in the English wing,
Pastor Beard said, walking up behind me. I was still facing the cabinet, and he couldn't see me mouth the word, damn it. And I took a breath and turned around with a smile. Pastor Beard, hi, yeah, just looking for some file folders.
Oh, we're out in here, but I have some in my room. You can have some if you want,
he said. It's okay. I'm sure I can find them somewhere else, I said.
Nonsense. Come with me. I can spare some folders. How many do you need?
He asked, and I sighed. 5.
I can spare that. Come on,
Pastor Beard said as he motioned for me to follow him to his classroom. What do you want to bet he robbed the rest of the school? To fill up his own classroom with folders that he might need eventually. Or folders that he can use as political tools. Look, the truth is I don't know what I'm going to use them for yet, but I need my dragon's hoard of folders. I followed him and stood in the doorway when he went in. He noticed me standing in the door.
Come in!
I sighed again and did follow him. He grabbed the folders and handed them to me, and then grabbed a flyer off his desk and put that on top of the folders. I looked down, and it was a flyer for his church.
If you ever wanted to come on Sunday, we'd love to have you,
he said as he patted my hand. Patted me? What? Not interested, also don't touch me. OP blinks and says, Pastor Beard, I've told you I'm not a Christian. I'm really not interested in going to a Christian church.
I understand, but if you give it a chance, you might find something that resonates with you. At the very least, come to the lunch in the English workroom tomorrow. The church is buying Olive Garden for the English team, and I'd like to personally invite you to join us. You may not teach English anymore, but you're always one of us, Emmy,
Pastor Beard said. Oh yes, Olive Garden, unlimited soup, salad, and breadsticks, only the finest for the English department. Paid for by the church. We didn't have to pay taxes on any of this. It's like free Olive Garden. Okay, OP asks, was he trying to use the church-funded Olive Garden to bribe me into going to his church? I appreciate the offer, but Beetle usually packs lunch for us, and I'm on a bit of a health kick right now, trying to lose some weight and all, I said. He looked me up and down, saying,
Has Beetle ever told you that you need to lose weight? 'Cause I think you're perfect.
I don't think this can be perceived as any way except extremely creepy. I don't think there's a situation where you could say that and it comes out good and everybody's okay with it. Do you need to paint this imaginary picture of the relationship? Do you need to comment at all? I think not on both accounts, thank you. But OP blinks again and just says, no, I want to get in shape. Beetle is just doing it with me to support me.
I hope he's good to you. Body shaming you, keeping you from church. It doesn't seem like a godly marriage to me,
Pastor Beard said. Does he have a marriage? Why don't you fucking mind your own marriage or lack thereof? How about that? I shamed my own body and I'm not interested in going to your fucking church. But I guess we're still trying to be professional. A blow up like this? Oh yeah, there's a big power play on his behalf. He's just trying to get your goat. Maybe knock you off balance by saying, oh, you're totally perfect. He's the one that's not letting you go to church, and then you have to only refute like one of those things because you're upset. Pastor Beard's an old hand at this political game, I think. That's why he's the youth pastor at a church. You think there weren't some political plays to get that gig? I tried to keep my mouth shut, says OP. Just shut up, Emmy, I said to myself, but my mouth didn't listen. Oh, my marriage wasn't blessed by God at all. It's blessed by Hera. She's the god of marriage after all. And my ex, Squirrelbeard, all but forced me to go to church. It was never my thing. However, I certainly appreciate your concern about my marriage. I assure you, Beetle's an amazing husband. No husband I know is so proud to be a simp to his wife as mine, and I'd say I'm damn lucky. So, thanks for the folders. I turned and bolted from the room back to the safety of my cave. I'm still uncomfortable with some of the terms that were said. Simp to his wife. But overall, I do think that you laid it down quite flat, you know? He's never going to truly get the message. Now he's just going to try even harder to save you. But I guess that's where we're at. Deal with it as it comes. I'm very pleased to say that Pastor Beard hasn't spoken to me since. Nice. But I did find another church flyer in my box one day, so I don't expect this to last. Yeah, just a reminder. Very subtle. And yeah, that's why I hate leaving my cave. Amen. And I think that's a good place to wrap it up for the day. I'll try to get another part out at some point this month, but no promises given how busy I've been this year. Thank you so much for supporting the series. I truly appreciate it. Thanks, Red, for keeping on with it. Might I also point out that I have a couple of other sagas posting your subreddit if you need content as well. I'll have to look. Anyway, like and subscribe to ReddX. And hey, why not subscribe to Emerald's Cave too? So you can be there from day one, whenever the hell that is. Thanks again for reading or listening, and I'll see you again when I got time. Emmy. Not bad, pretty smooth, lot to unpack. Manny being himself, Wee One and Helga both causing their own brands of chaos. Butchbeard fleeing the States from an angry father. And of course, Pastor Beard trying to convert people at school. It is quite a collection of characters, isn't it? I hope you guys enjoyed as well. Hit all the buttons, you know, thanks to my patrons, my members. On the end card, I think I'm going to link Squirrelbeard, because that was mentioned. If you haven't watched it yet, I think you'll enjoy it. Even if you have, just go watch it again. It's good for you. Always remember, friends, that you are loved, you are worthy, you definitely deserve it, and I shall see you in the next one. So until then, bye-bye. Go ahead and cut them open. It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. Promise, swears he